What was winter like in the 17 and 1800s in Savannah? I'm standing in Washington Square, which is one of the oldest parts of the city, and some of the most beautiful homes are in this particular square. But we overlook something of the time period, which is back then our houses were not built for winter, they're built for summertime. You always want to have ventilation for the cool breezes, hopefully, to come in. So these homes don't have insulation. It does get cold here. It's a damp cold in the winter because we're 18 miles from the ocean. So back then, how did families deal with it? You would stay in one room the whole day. They wanted to conserve their firewood, so they only used one fireplace in the main parlor room. So the whole family would gather into that particular room. You would have this damp smell of wool as well as food cooking. They would have these big one-pot dishes, and most of the time down here it would be grits, or it could also be rooted vegetables, salted pork, salted beef. Winter in Savannah was a time of peace, quiet, and solitude. For entertainment, families, most of the time, they would either play instruments, they would read aloud, they would do inside activities of sewing or repairing tools. What you wore during the day, that's what you slept in at night. You hardly ever changed your clothes because it was just too cold to do so. Out here on the city streets, it was exceptionally quiet in the winter. But there's something that we overlook. Because of these drafts coming into the home, you would have light on the outside, but darkness in the house. They would hang thick blankets over the windows in order to sort of try to trap the heat from the fire in the house and keep cold air from coming in. So you're basically living in darkness. Your daily schedule went by the sunlight. When the sun came up, you woke up. When it went down, you went to sleep. But smells. In a previous video, I talked about the horse lanes and where all the manure would be stored. But in the winter, it would be damp, cold manure out on the streets, and your outhouse was behind the home. You shared the outhouse with your neighbors. So now think of diseases, illnesses, influenza in the wintertime being passed from neighbor to neighbor in the outhouse, then coming into your home and infecting your family. Winter was harsh, it was difficult, and it was simply a waiting game for the warmer months. So back then, the question is for Savannahans, would you take the winter or would you take the humidity of the summer?